Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Expectations all over the place for the 2025 season. I've heard some of you guys say 8-4. I've heard 10-2. I've heard as bad as 4-8. Come on, give me a break. 4-8. Is that what we're really talking about here? I think Tennessee returns a lot of talent in the 2025 season. I think you have an opportunity. Urban Meyer was on the Triple Option podcast earlier this week. He called Tennessee a dark horse to win the college football playoff national championship. Let's take a listen to what Urban Meyer had to say.
So, Coach, is there a dark horse out there that tickles you a little bit?
Yeah, Nico, the quarterback at Tennessee. You know, I had them. I remember when I first started studying them last year, and I called Brady Quinn and Matt Leinart, and I said, what am I missing here? This guy looks like a bona fide. He looks like Aaron Rodgers. The ball comes out of his hand like a tennis ball, man.
Kent State.
I love that argument. You're missing. I mean, you're talking about a college football coach, Urban Meyer. I think he knows a little something about the college football game, and he's talking about Nico and how he spins it, how he throws it, the arm talent, right? And then you got this guy that pops in and says, you're missing that he played at Kent State. Man, you go look at Nico's numbers from last year, and it wasn't just Kent State. I mean, yeah, he put up really good numbers against Chattanooga. Something happened in that NC State game, because when you talk about Kent State, that's not the game that I would rattle off. I mean, Nico was 10 of 16, 173 yards and a touchdown. His completion percentage, 62.5%. But to me, we started having conversations on this channel around that NC State game. Nico took a couple of hits. We started to question, was it his confidence? Did he have a lack of confidence in his offensive line, his protection? We debated back and forth. What was off after that game? And you know, you see Nico kind of started to get better. You go back to the Alabama game. Felt like he started to turn a corner at the halfway point of that football game. He goes out against Kentucky, throws for almost 300 yards. You see the completion percentage kind of come back up there. And I get it. Some people want to talk about the Ohio States and the Georgias, and I don't disagree with that. But if you go back to that Kent State game, you remember the conversations that we had after the Chattanooga game. It wasn't about the defense. It was about the ball location. It was about the arm talent. We were talking about how it doesn't matter if it's routes on air. What Nico was doing was impressive. So I don't care if it's Kent State or if it's the freaking Chicago Bears. What he was doing with the football was impressive. So I think that's just a stupid comment, a dumb statement. Let's hear more from Coach Meyer.
Good point. That's what I was missing. And he got really inconsistent, and that team around him got a little bit inconsistent. They still had a heck of a year. So if that kid grows as a quarterback, he could be I asked the question after watching, and I know he wasn't playing great teams, but just his physical ability, his side speeds, athleticism, and the ball comes out. I saw him as a high first-round draft pick. Now, it remains to be seen, but I'll pick Tennessee.
Calling Tennessee a dark horse for the national championship. The point that I like the most is the players around Nico have to pick him up, have to carry him. So what would it take? What would it take for Tennessee to go win a national championship in 2025? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. As always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up right down there below the video. It's quick, free, and easy, and it helps the channel. I would appreciate it. If it's your first time here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media. We're not reporters. We're not journalists. We're not any of that stuff. What we are is fans. We're just like you guys, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, we're going to be live on Sunday night, every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to play EA Sports College Football. You guys can come on, go head to head. You can buy players. You can hang out in the chat. We'll talk all things Tennessee athletics. So come hang out every Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So can Tennessee win a national championship in 2025? I think the answer for me is yes. I mean, you look at the schedule, and again, I've heard all the predictions. I've heard 9-3, 8-4. I've heard it all. And I think 9-3 is a fair prediction, right? You look at the schedule, you look that you got to go on the road and play Florida. You got to go on the road and play Alabama. If you believe 9-3, I can't argue with that. I understand where you're coming from. But me personally, what do I feel right now? And I get it. We're sitting here in the month of February. We've not even got to spring practice yet. But for me, looking at it early, I think Tennessee gets over the hump. I think they get over the hump and they beat Alabama on the road. Can they handle Georgia at home? I got to see that to believe it. How good are the Gators this year? What has to happen for the Vols to win a national championship? And I think it starts on the offensive side of the ball, right? I think it starts with the passing offense. You got to fix the passing offense. And I get it. You got to replace Dylan Sampson, who had a record-breaking season in 2024. Single season record for rushing yards, single season record for touchdowns. You got to replace a weapon in Dylan Sampson, but I have the confidence. I have the confidence in Peyton Lewis. I have the confidence in Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas to come in and be able to succeed in Josh Heupel's offense that I think it sets the running back up for success. And I think that Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop, and Star Thomas can do that. So you got to fix that passing game. And Nico needs to take a step. You know, I loved hearing Urban Meyer say that magical word that Coach Jay said back on the charity stream, growth. Nico has to grow from his redshirt freshman year to his redshirt sophomore year. But it's not just Nico. It's the guys around him. Again, Urban Meyer said it. It's the guys around him got to help pick Nico up. Your offensive line has to be able to protect Nico. Now, whatever happened in that NC State game when we were having debates for weeks and weeks about Nico's confidence, Nico's consistency. Was he healthy? Was he banged up? Was it confidence? I don't know. We can debate it until we're blue in the face, but something changed around that time of the year. So you got to protect Nico. You got to keep Nico clean for this offense to be able to succeed. What does this offensive line look like in 2025? Do you have Lance Hurd, Andres Carrick, William Satterwhite, or Pendleton at center? Wendell Moy Jr., David Sanders, is that what you look like left to right? Does Carrick get the waiver? Or is Pendleton going to be at left guard? And even still, I like that starting five. If it's Hurd, Pendleton, Satterwhite, Wendell Moy Jr., and David Sanders, I like that offensive line. What does your depth look like? Something else we need is difference makers. We need difference makers on offense. Somebody that can take over a game. Somebody like a Jalen Hyatt. Let's go take a listen to this clip. This is from the On3 Recruits channel. They were talking about the Vols class of 2025 and looking at some of the guys that are freshmen that could make a difference, that could make an impact, but they also brought up Jalen Hyatt. I want to take a listen to this, and then we'll kind of comment on it. Let's take a listen.
I think the big thing for Tennessee is we had that flash in 2022 where you got Jalen Hyatt winning the Biletnikoff and there's, shots downfield and all that. And I think that's still who they would like to be, but I haven't seen a difference maker at the wide receiver position really of that caliber of that group and from 2022 since that season. And that's not saying that Jalen Hyatt guys grow on trees, but I think a Travis Smith, what they got in this class, you hope that he's able to get rolling pretty quickly. Mike Matthews, keeping him on that roster was huge. So Nico obviously has some fair share of the blame, but I need some guys to really put strain on defenses on the back end to get open. They are running the football, though, which I think is impressive.
I think we're going to continue to run the football. I think we're going to run the football with Deshaun Bishop. I think we're going to run the football with Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas. But he brings up a good point there. And again, going back to the Coach Jay charity stream comment about growth. Look at the growth of Jalen Hyatt from 2021 to 2022. And JD pointing out, man, Jalen Hyatt, those dudes don't grow on trees. No, but you can develop them. And again, look at the difference, that 2021 season to the 2022 season. 2021, Jalen Hyatt had 21 catches, 226 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Who had on their bingo card going into 2022 that Jalen Hyatt was going to be the Biletnikoff Award winner? Who had him catching 67 balls for 1,267 yards and 15 touchdowns? Who had him going out and dominating Alabama so we could tear down the goalpost and smoke cigars inside Neyland Stadium? I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card. And oh, by the way, if you want to say, well, this entire offense, it's all Alex Golesh. Guess who was Jalen Hyatt's coach in 2021 and also his offensive coordinator in 2022? That would be Alex Golesh. It was the Josh Heupel offense. It was Alex Golesh calling the plays. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to have somebody buy in. It's not always about the play calling and all the eye candy and all the fancy stuff, all the motion and the shifts. Sometimes it's about doing things the right way. Sometimes it's about preparing the right way. Sometimes it's about going out on Saturday, doing your job and executing. That's why Josh Heupel beat it into the ground all year long. It takes 11 guys doing ordinary things at an elite level. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Go out, execute. Can somebody take that step? Who would you rather have at wide receiver? Would you rather have Squirrel White, Chaz Nimrod, Caleb Webb, and Nathan Laycock? Or would you rather have Mike Matthews, Chris Brazzell, Braylon Staley, Amari Jefferson, and we're going to have some packages dialed up for Boo Carter? I think that is probably at the top of the list for me. If Tennessee is going to be able to win a national championship in 2025, fix the passing game. What about defensively? Flip over to the other side of the ball. I think you just got to keep being who you are. Yeah, you got to develop. You got to get better in the offseason, but we're talking about a defense that gave up less than 300 yards per game. You gave up 16.1 points per game, 7th in the country in scoring defense after the college football playoff. Were they perfect? No. Should they have been perfect? No. You can't beat Ohio State and Georgia. Now, those are a couple of elite teams that you're throwing out there, right? Georgia, Ohio State, yeah, of course. And we got to continue to get better. We got to continue to close the talent gap there. Tennessee is on the way up. They're not where Ohio State is yet. They're not where Georgia is yet, but we are growing in that direction. I think Tim Banks coming back is huge. I think the defense is going to be elite again in 2025. I think Coach G's defensive line is going to be dominant. I do have some questions. Can Jeremiah Thielander and Arian Carter, can they get better this offseason? I think they need to improve. I think Edwin Spillman is a guy that could be a huge factor at linebacker this upcoming season. Who can be that fourth guy in that linebacker rotation? I think the secondary can be better. I think you're going to get more athletic at safety with Jacoby Thomas taking over for Will Brooks. Call me crazy. I think that's an upgrade. The big question, obviously, the health of Jamad McCoy. Is he going to be ready to go? Is he going to be a factor? Because if not, that is a huge concern and a huge question for 2025. But what are your thoughts on what Urban Meyer said? Dark horse to win the college football playoff. Dark horse to win the national championship. We got people that say we're going to take a step back. We're going 8-4, 7-5. You got Urban Meyer saying they're a dark horse. Watch out. Watch out for Tennessee. And you don't have to run the table. You don't have to go undefeated. 10-2, get into the college football playoff, get hot at the right time. We saw Ohio State do it. Why can't Tennessee do it? What are your thoughts? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link's in the description below. You want to support the channel a little bit further, think about hitting that join button. It's right down there below, right beside subscribe. If you're on an iPhone, there's a link in the description. You can go about it that way. It's $1 a month. If you tune into this channel every single day, we're talking Tennessee football all day, every day of the year. You want to talk it with us, hit that join button. Your support allows us to bring you the content. We cannot do it without the members, so we appreciate you guys. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.